So I'm Felix Schuler. I'm a senior partner and managing director at the Boston Consulting Group in the Munich office. My personal passion for people topics and people engagement topics comes from two elements. I lead the people and organization practice of BCG in our Central European region, and I was one of the people driving the implementation of significant new workplace satisfaction, work and life balance tools at BCG under the title of PTO and New Normal. You know, on top of the usual answers, like how critical good people are at various stages of a company's development, a lot of studies also done by my colleagues Yves Mourieux and Rainer Stracke in the recent years have shown that engagement of employees has come to an all-time low in many organizations and is maybe one of the critical explanatory facts behind a slowdown in productivity that we see in Western economies. And we invest a lot in digital technology, in other physical classical technology, in all kinds of possibilities to drive productivity, but we for many years overlooked employee satisfaction and engagement, passion, creativity as an element to invest in. And that's why I think it's the call of duty for companies that really want to do something on productivity. You know, let's not trick ourselves. Many people say, yes, I'm pro-change. Nobody really loves change. Neither do I. We educate ourselves to comply with change, to embrace change. But it's not a natural human behavior. So employee feedback, employee satisfaction in those times of true disruption is critical because you see early signals, you can react. You see where you have deficits in the communication, in understanding, in people embracing the change or even understanding the change, and you can act on it. If you don't do that, you are acting in insecurity in times of distraction of the people, and you will lose satisfaction and productivity. So, you know, digitalization, the way people interact, the way people are informed are on the surface large changes. But below that is, and I welcome that, a significantly higher self-confidence of a lot of the people going into the workplace. They are more informed, they have possibilities, they demand a balance in their work and other life parts, and they see much more than in the past a portfolio of rewards, not just monetary, but a lot more. And this is for me the biggest change that I have observed over 15 years of being engaged in recruiting, and I welcome it. Yeah? Some people lament that. I think it's not ours to lament. It's a new group of generations that has better education, better information, is better networked, and therefore can demand more. You know, I think that companies need to pay much more attention in this area. And not just on the classical elements of being, flashy in their appearance, promising a career. I think they need to go one level deeper and truly into what satisfies people, what makes people wanting to stay with a company for a long time, and think that already in the moment of recruitment. So think from a perspective of how to keep that person in the company for 10 years. No more than that, that's unrealistic, but how to keep the person in the company for 10 years and think backwards from that. So what do we need to already communicate at the point of recruitment for the long term? In the portfolio of rewards that people are expecting from their work, earning their living, having a successful career, being in a development stage and being, or in a development path, and being around people that one likes to work with in a diverse, interesting environment. On top comes that people have righteously a demand for a kind of purpose in what they're doing. They want to see that what they work on does not have a negative effect, and hopefully a positive effect on society, nature, our planet overall. And this is what people need to understand over time, that this element of purpose is extremely important and a big driver of satisfaction, engagement, and happiness of the people. As I said a little earlier, I tried to implement something at BCG and was successful in doing that with my colleagues, which is an initiative around our workplace satisfaction. And honestly was our partner in implementing that. And in a true startup mode, we were starting up this initiative. Honestly, is a company with a startup culture to this date. We together worked out with the usual frictions and fun mixed together, a very good tool and a very good understanding. And I understood that I have been a difficult client and that we have been a difficult client, but a rewarding client in the end. And this is what motivated me to, beyond my role in our new normal initiative, which I handed over at the beginning of the year, to stay engaged with honesty, and this was my opportunity to do that. The solution lies in your question, because there is the word invest. And my deep belief is that HR to this date is not seen as an object of investment enough. We have massive tools and resources behind calculating investments in fixed assets. But the investment in HR is something that is, on a third or fourth place in the ranking of investment ideas very often. And I believe if you invest intelligently for the best return, then investing into your people is something that has a lot of return for a limited amount of investment. Plus, I would point to the role of the costs of not investing in HR, disengagement, the recruiting cost of replacing people, lost work time. This is something that you should look at, just like if your machinery is underperforming, then you would immediately go and invest into repairment, maintenance, upgrading. That's the mindset you need to put to HR topics, and that I think convinces a CEO on the fence. Finally, give the HR function in corporations the recognition it deserves as one of the best, most critical and most important corporate functions, and not as it was in some or many companies in the past as an afterthought.